You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Friday, happy Venus Day, and welcome to the weekend. Today is the ultimate Venus Day. We're going to be talking a lot about Venus today, as Venus is squaring Jupiter right now, and then Venus will move into Capricorn later tonight. Then we'll walk through what's going on Saturday and Sunday. So if you are finding this video partway through the weekend, I'll go ahead and add markers to the timeline so you can jump to whichever part of the forecast you are looking for guidance on. We have a few friends already here. Diane was waiting in the chat. Nick is here. Diane says we're the early birds. No, I'm the late bird, but that's okay. We're all here. Whoever needs to be here is here. Nick says he's feeling a bit late today with a bunch of stuff too. Elena made it live. Oh, thanks, Nick. He says live is the best way to watch, but he watches later too if he can't make it live. I'm glad you liked the tie-dye. I am hosting a 90s, 2000s themed event tonight, so I had to lean into that 90s kid energy. And also, this shirt feels a lot like Venus squaring Jupiter. It's just like, it's a lot. It's a lot. And that's kind of the theme of the day today. Hi, Rose. Good morning. Happy to see you here. So I love to hear how everyone's feeling with this square between Venus and Jupiter. We are going to break it down together. Yeah, definitely a hippie style shirt too. The 90s brought back the hippie era, you know, bell bottoms, 60s, 70s. So it's fun to watch trends repeat. Of course, the 90s are back in style now. Like all the kids are wearing chokers and bucket hats and tie-dye and crop tops and all the things. Katie says, feeling angry today. Heavy metal getting me through it. I have Venus in Capricorn. Yeah, my Capricorn placements. How you feeling? How you doing? It's definitely not, I don't think it's an easy day for Capricorns today, but at least you are acknowledging how you feel. That's the first step, right? Having a healthy outlet for it. Thanks for sharing that with us, Katie. Nikki says she had a great day of painting after her yoga classes and sauna. Very different energy from heavy metal music, but it just goes to show how the transits can affect us all very differently. So let's get a check on the current energy. The sun is in Sagittarius. The moon is in Cancer. So we're pulling away from that full moon energy, and the moon loves to be in Cancer. The moon is right at home in Cancer, really helping us attune to our emotions. But interesting that Katie is feeling a little aggro, right? Because the moon in Cancer is probably opposing a lot of your Capricorn placements. I know you have a lot of Capricorn placements. So for all of us, the moon in Cancer can make us feel a little bit moody or protective. But if you have heavy Capricorn placements, you're feeling that opposition to the moon. Yeah, Elena says, my natal chart is ruled by Jupiter. I was told that Venus is my greater benefic, though. Interesting. So I'm assuming you're a Sagittarius rising, if that's the case. And today might feel like a big day for you, too, with Venus and Jupiter squaring each other. Diane says, I've been waiting for bell bottoms to come back. I love how you have a tie-dye, like, avatar, too, on YouTube. Of course, I love them in black, but I love the large flowy bottoms. I am currently wearing not huge bell bottoms, but bell bottoms as well. So feeling those 90s vibes. Hey, Corby. That's the current energy, still very much in Sagittarius season. We have about another week or so of Sagittarius season. And today actually is going to be the last major shift we feel for the rest of Sagittarius season as Venus moves into Capricorn. That makes sense why Venus is such a large ruler of your chart, because your sun and moon are both ruled by Venus. So yeah, a lot of your energy is being activated today, Elena. Diane was painting last night. Felt very tapped into the creative energy, vivid dreams. Wow. Okay, so let's talk about the current energy, Venus squaring Jupiter. If you watched yesterday's episode, you probably heard me tell you it's really good to have a creative outlet or somewhere to place this abundance of energy today. In one word, this transit feels like overindulgence. Anytime we have a square to Jupiter, it can be excess. It can be overdoing it. And Venus, being the planet of love, money, and beauty, we can overspend. We can overeat. We can overindulge in a lot of ways. We can overextend ourselves in relationships. We can be a little bit quick and spontaneous with Venus at the 29th degree of Sagittarius, this very spontaneous sign. We can be really quick to jump into relationships, jump into bed, jump into an adventure, say yes to things. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but we want to think things through before we just dive headfirst into them today, because that is the tendency, to just jump in with both feet and be spontaneous and be overindulgent and have all of the treats and spend all of the money and do all the Christmas shopping today. That feels like the energy. So you can see on our chart here, not only is Venus squaring Jupiter, but both of them are at 29 degrees. Both of them are at the anaretic degree, which is why I keep using the phrase, it's a lot. It's a lot, right? The 29th degree is the degree of a lot. Venus is the planet, or excuse me, Jupiter is the planet of a lot, and Venus just wants us to feel good. So, you know, there's again that tendency to reach for anything, jump for anything that's going to make us feel good. Again, this is why I wore this shirt today. I'm like, this is the most a lot shirt in my wardrobe. We have the smiley face, we have the tie-dye. It feels like a 5-year-old picked it out, and I'm kind of here for it. You know, it's just a lot. So yeah, that's kind of the vibe with Venus squaring Jupiter. Overindulgence, overdoing it. We want to be careful not to overdo it, not to overextend ourselves, but also knowing that if there's a day to go a little overboard, today is the day. So observe yourself. Observe if you're just jumping into things automatically to make you feel good, or if you are leaning into indulgence a little bit more than you normally would, and if that feels good for you. If you're someone who's normally very limited or rigid, if you have a lot of Capricorn, Virgo placements, and you tend to be a little bit more reserved or modest, this transit could help you open up a little bit and be a little bit more spontaneous and free. I will say, this is a very Friday vibe as well. That's why I said today is the most Venus day, because it can make it really hard to get work done when Venus is squaring Jupiter. We just kind of want to be free and have fun and be social. We can be overly generous. That's why I said overspending, but you might even find yourself, if you are out with friends tonight or out to lunch or something, like wanting to pay for everybody's meals, even if they don't necessarily need that, and you don't necessarily need to do that or even have the means to do that. So again, overextending ourselves is all too easy today. Now, this is a powerful transit for making friends, being social, but there's a tendency to jump into a relationship here, right? Like only see the good things, only see the silver linings. So the connections we're making under this aspect, you know, really just over the next couple days, might not be for the long haul. It might just be a fun fling right now. That's not to say if you fell in love during this transit that it wouldn't stand the test of time, but I would I would say we're all a little bit restless and eager to be in love, to feel good when Venus is squaring Jupiter. Oh, Diane even made this tie-dye. She tie-dyed the shirt and took a photo of it. I love that. So creative. Bree, hop on and hear a lot, and I am feeling a lot. You are not alone. You are not alone. A lot of us are feeling a lot. Yeah. So just giving yourself grace. Yeah, Venus rules your chart. So Venus squaring Jupiter, like you are feeling a lot. That makes sense. That makes total sense. Diane says it feels so much lighter today than it has the past few days. I had a rough few back to back. I'm so happy that it feels lighter for you. The beautiful thing about Venus squaring Jupiter is it's like only being able to see through rose-colored glasses, or that's how it can manifest for some people. So that's beautiful. If you're needing to lighten up, it's easier to lean into positive, abundant, pleasure-filled energy today. It just could also feel overwhelming if you are a Sagittarius rising, a Taurus rising, a Libra rising. It might feel a bit much. So that's what's happening really all day. That's what we're feeling. But then Venus moves into Capricorn just before 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time. So like I said, this is the last major transit we're talking about in Sagittarius season. We had the full moon on Wednesday. Venus moves into Capricorn, and then it's kind of this calibration energy of slowly moving towards the winter solstice, slowly moving towards Capricorn season, and no other shifts until then. So we'll take it. We will take it. Venus and Capricorn. We touched on this at the very beginning of Sagittarius season, but let's review it again. So Venus is the planet of love, money, and beauty. Like I always say, Venus in Capricorn is really bringing attention to the long-term potential of our relationships, of our finances, and of beauty as well. Now, that might seem counterintuitive, but let me explain. This feels like getting serious about love, getting serious about money. Capricorn energy is a very serious energy. And so this brings the focus to the long-term potential in our relationships, the long-term potential in investments. Capricorn rules the 10th house, all about our long-term goals. So Venus in Capricorn is bringing that energy into love, money, and beauty. Now, Venus in Capricorn wants us to see if things can stand the test of time. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, the god of time, and it's kind of like that father energy, fatherly love with Venus and Capricorn. Like, are you sure about this? Is this stable? Is this secure? Is this going to take care of you for the long haul? You know, kind of like that dad vibe. So yeah, you might be questioning those things or observing the things that do feel really stable and do feel really solid in your life. The relationships that you know are just solid, that you can rely on no matter what. That's Venus in Capricorn. The financial opportunities that feel very stable, like they're not tumultuous at all. That's Venus in Capricorn. I see this showing up in beauty in a really cool way. Venus in Capricorn feels like honoring traditions in beauty. And Capricorn energy is very traditional, very ancestral. So you might be drawn to like black and white movies or timeless displays of beauty, even just Christmas energy, holiday energy, like honoring tradition. The menorah, if you're Jewish, that's like a classic, traditional, beautiful display that we all admire this time of year. I don't know many other different holiday traditions, but there is this element of honoring tradition and admiring tradition with Venus in Capricorn. So it's really more about the long term than the short term with Venus and Capricorn. Interesting that we end the year with Venus and Capricorn too, because we're probably going to be thinking a lot about, again, the long haul, 2023. Can this relationship sustain us through 2023? Can this financial arrangement sustain us in the new year? Is this beauty regimen really going to be sustainable? You know, things like that. So it's, I think, also not just talking about love, money, and beauty, but Venus rules our values. So getting really practical about our values, reflecting on our values, seeing them through a more stable and serious lens, observing in our life. That could be what kind of helps you decide if something can stand the test of time. Reflecting on your values and saying, okay, does this relationship align with my values? Does this job align with my values? So it does feel like there will be a lot of proposals that happen with Venus and Capricorn. There might be some breakups happening with Venus and Capricorn. I just see it more like either you're committing or you're getting out. That's what this energy is. Doesn't feel quite like a running away energy. If anything, Venus and Sagittarius might have felt like wanting to break free from the confines of things. So people might have felt that, you know, during Venus and Sagittarius. Venus and Capricorn is like being practical, making the decision, committing either way, committing to it either way. Elena says, Venus is about to transit my North Node in Capricorn. Very excited to see how this plays out. I see that being like desire for growth, desire to get out of your comfort zone, being attracted to things that lead you in the direction of your purpose. What a beautiful transit. Katie, this is amazing. I feel like I've been getting serious about my love and relationship with myself, how and who I spend my time with. Venus and Capricorn, first house. I love that we're talking about first house too, because it's the house of the self. So Venus and Capricorn, you know, really highlighting your love of yourself, your desires for yourself, how you're showing up in your relationships, how you're showing up when it comes to money, when it comes to your values. What a beautiful interpretation. I love that. Yeah, getting serious. And remember, when we talk about relationships, I always express this caveat, especially for people who are new here. It's not just about romance. Yes, Venus is a very romantic energy, but it can also be like getting serious about your role in your relationships with your children. Being more mature and responsible in your relationships with your parents, in your friendships, in your partnerships, business partnerships could really benefit with Venus and Capricorn. Venus being the planet of partnerships, Capricorn being the sign of career and probably the most business focused sign, the most serious sign. So yeah, getting serious about all kinds of relationships. Yes, Nikki, it's a more solid Venus in Capricorn than Venus in Sagittarius. Once Venus moves into Capricorn, yeah, well, it's like, I think it's when we're talking about beauty with Venus in Capricorn, it's like, I feel like people are going to make more beauty decisions that are aligned with long-term goals, right? Where Venus and Sagittarius might have been like, oh, let's just go get the Botox. Let's just chop off all our hair. Let's do all the things because it's fun and it feels free and spontaneous in the moment. Where expect to move slower in relationships. Expect to make decisions more slowly, especially because Mercury is in Capricorn too. Thought processes take a little bit longer. Capricorn energy likes to move slow. So if it feels like today is a day with Venus squaring Jupiter, you might jump into a relationship or kind of like, this is what I want. And then once Venus moves into Capricorn, it's like, wait. We got to slow down. We got to pump the brakes. Is this really going to sustain us? Is this really what we want long term? Ooh, Corby, just had a thought today. Do I really want what I'm asking for? Whew, wow. I feel like I've been resonating with so much of what you've been saying in the chat lately, Corby. Yeah. Do I really want what I'm asking for? Reflecting and making those decisions. And this comes back to reflecting on our values with Venus and Capricorn, taking a more practical look at our values and making decisions from that place, making serious decisions, probably long-lasting decisions. But what are my values? What's really important to me? Great question, Diane. She says, Capricorn rules her 8th house, which is empty, wondering how this will affect me. Venus and Capricorn, I think moving through your 8th house for you could take relationships to a deeper level, maybe create more intimacy. I could see this showing up as feeling a little bit spicy or sexual for you. Luckily, with nothing in your 8th house, I don't think it'll be too intense. Maybe look more to oppositions or squares that Venus will be making for you. But yeah, more intimacy in relationships, intimacy helping you get more serious, helping you align with the long term. That's how I see it for you. Yeah, right? Corby just dropped a bomb with that one. Such a good reflection. Do I really want what I'm asking for? Venus and Capricorn. Yes. Let's chat about what's going on with the moon today. So the moon is in Cancer. It's the waning gibbous moon. So we're in this releasing phase. And when the moon is in Cancer, we crave being around our family. We crave being in our comfort zone, feeling safe. We really crave safety. So whether that's finding safety in your own body, safety in your environment, and also our emotions tend to be a little bit more enhanced when the moon is in Cancer because the moon is at home in Cancer. So we're just more aware of our emotions. That can help us tap into our intuition as well. You might find yourself really craving nourishment in whatever way that shows up for you. Cancer rules the stomach. So we feel like love and nourishment kind of go hand in hand, or nurturing. Our cravings and our stomach are linked, is what I'm trying to say. And we're also more aware of how we take care of others and how other people take care of us. Two different transits to talk about with the Cancer moon today. The moon opposes Mercury. That happened at 6 a.m. Pacific time, 9 a.m. Eastern time. So that's kind of the energy we're still feeling and the energy we woke up feeling, the moon opposing Mercury. When the moon opposes Mercury, this can feel like a push-pull energy. You can see the moon here, Mercury over here. A push-pull energy between our mind, Mercury, and our emotions with the moon in Cancer. So it could feel like mood swings a little bit today. It could feel like going from overly analytical to overly emotional. It could feel like this intense need to express how we're feeling as well, with Mercury being the planet of communication, opposing the moon. It's like this attraction to expression, to speaking, to talking things out. So yeah, but Mercury, you know, the term mercurial, changing quickly. When the moon opposes Mercury, our moods can change very quickly too. And the only other connection the moon makes today will be at midnight. So many of us might sleep through this transit, but if you're still up around midnight Pacific time or 3 a.m. Eastern time, maybe you even are waking up super early on Saturday morning and feeling this energy, the moon squares Chiron. So remember, Chiron is not a major planet. It's an icy outer body. It's known as the wounded healer, but with the moon in Cancer making us a little more emotional, the moon in a water sign in general makes us more emotional, squaring Chiron in Aries, our wounds could be triggered, and that could trigger some emotions too. So if we're noticing we're not taking care of our body, the moon in Cancer really wants us to take care of our body. If we are overtired or denying our body's needs, we could be triggered more easily really late tonight. If you are sleeping through this transit, you might have intense dreams that represent your subconscious signaling to you a wound or some sort of opportunity for healing. So that's a potential too. If you're lucky, you'll just sleep through this transit and won't necessarily feel the triggers of the moon squaring Chiron. But if you find yourself getting agitated or triggered or having big emotions come up, just know that there's an opportunity for healing here. This is the universe showing you, maybe even in a harsh way, but just showing you, hey, this is what still needs to be healed. Maybe this is how you're not taking care of yourself. And remember, when we have wounding come up, it also signals a deeper need. How can we better take care of ourselves? How can we better nurture the part of ourselves that's crying out for help or that's not getting their needs met? IFS, if you've never heard of IFS, internal family systems, it's a form of therapy. And I am not a therapist. I'm not trained in IFS, but I've dabbled in it. I've learned a little bit about it, and it represents all these different parts of us, these different roles that different parts of our personality plays. So notice if you're feeling triggered, what part of you is wounded? What part of you is needing your attention or needing some nurturing? The moon in Cancer wants us to nurture ourselves, right? Capricorn in your second house with no placements. Well, Venus and Capricorn moving through your second house should be great for money for you, Nick. So that's great. Yes, all the air hugs. All the air hugs with my ridiculous tie-dye smiley face shirt. I find that I wear this shirt when I know I'm going to need positive energy. So I'm like, can I write only positivity? Like it's on me. It's embedded in me. Spending some time with my mom now. Perfect thing to do with the moon in Cancer. Told her about you and we looked at her chart. That makes me so happy. That really does, because I find that I understand people on such a deeper level and can bond with people by reading their charts. A few months ago did a reading for my mom and just really did a deep dive on her own chart with her. And she was like, wow, I didn't realize that this could tell you so much about me. And she kind of had these aha moments about herself too. So it makes me so happy that you're able to share your knowledge of astrology, what you're learning with the people close to you, and maybe give them some tools too to navigate their emotions. All the air hugs. All the air hugs. So that's our Friday. Saturday and Sunday are going to be a lot more low key, but let's talk about them. Let's talk about Saturday and Sunday. So Saturday, all we have going on is the moon in Cancer, and it's only making a couple different connections. So I'll pull up the chart here and show you what Saturday looks like. Here we go. We'll jump ahead. December 10th, middle of the day. The dogs are going off right now. They're really feeling that Venus square Jupiter energy. Okay, so tomorrow morning, we have a lot of early morning and late night transits throughout the weekend. Middle of the day seems like a lull throughout this weekend. So 6 a.m. on Saturday, the moon will form a sextile to Uranus. And you can see here the moon still in Cancer, Uranus at 15 degrees. This is pulling away from the sextile at this hour, but you get the idea. We're looking at that nice 60-degree angle between the two planets. This is at 6 a.m., like I said, Pacific time, so 9 a.m. Eastern time, when most of us are getting our day started, our Saturday started. And you might wake up feeling a little rebellious, but I see this more as excitement, anticipation, like waking up and like, ooh, let's do something different today. Let's do something fun today. It could just feel like an energetic shift as well. Uranus signals change. It's the planet of change. It's the planet of disruption. So the moon forming a sextile to Uranus is helping us lean into that change, lean into those shifts, even with the moon in Cancer, which definitely craves security, craves the comfort zone. Uranus is helping us stretch the boundaries, stretch the limits of our comfort zone a little bit. And you might be feeling just an emotional change in general when the moon connects with Uranus on Saturday morning. The only other connection the Cancer moon makes, and the only other connection we're really feeling, is a trine between the moon and Neptune. That happens at 8 p.m. Pacific time, so 11 p.m. Eastern time. This is one of those days where I'm going to tell you, really pay attention to your dreams on Saturday night. I'm trying to jump ahead even more so you can actually see this. The moon at 22 degrees, trine Neptune here, is going to allow us to tap into our intuition more easily. Our sensitivities will likely be heightened, but more spiritual sensitivities or intuitive sensitivities, downloads can come through very easily with the moon and Neptune harmonizing in water signs. And Neptune is the planet of dreams. So that's why I say pay attention to your dreams on Saturday night. They could be bringing through some subconscious information that your rational mind just isn't quite able to make sense of right now, especially because Mercury's in Capricorn. We really need proof. We're really reliant on logic with Mercury in Capricorn. So this is a really nice intuitive moment with the Cancer moon connecting with Neptune. Like it doesn't have to make sense. We can just kind of feel into the energy, feel into our psychic awareness, and our dreams are part of our psychic awareness. So Saturday does feel like a shift in energy. Now, something I do want to point out that we're feeling all weekend long, this is a transit that we will go deeper into on Tuesday, but you can see it's been here for the past couple days, Lilith opposing Pluto. You know, now that I think of it, Katie talking about how she just needed to listen to some heavy metal music today. Anybody else who's feeling kind of agitated, that's just a general underlying energy a lot of us are feeling right now with Lilith opposing Pluto. These are two of the most intense, hostile, controlling, manipulative energies that we talk about in astrology. Now, Pluto opposing Lilith can also help us find our power and reclaim our power. But remember, power and hostility are not the same thing. That's all I'm going to say about that for now. But that actually is going to lead us really nicely into the Sunday forecast. So let me pull that up. And we have the moon making its final connections in Cancer on Sunday morning and then moving into Leo by Sunday afternoon. So we'll jump ahead on the chart yet again. Here we go. And you will see the moon still in Cancer making its final connections. So here's what that looks like. We just talked about that opposition between Lilith and Pluto. And I love when this happens, when I just like intuitively lead into the next transit. Wasn't trying for that to happen, but here we go. So you can see the moon will be conjunct Lilith and opposing Pluto right around the same time. This is happening on Sunday morning between about 5 and 8 a.m. Pacific time. So that'd be like 8 and 11 a.m. Eastern time. In general, Sunday morning could feel a little touchy. The moon meeting up with Lilith. Remember, dark moon Lilith represents the moon, the point on the moon's path that's farthest away from Earth. It represents our shadows. It represents the parts of us that we've been repressing or hiding that no longer want to be hidden. They want to rise up and be in control, which can be a very bitchy and hostile energy if we don't use it to our advantage. So as the moon meets up with Lilith, if you are feeling deep parts of yourself wanting to surface, wanting to come up, wanting to be in control, try using this inward. So how can you control yourself? How can you reclaim your power that way rather than trying to control other people? It's very easy to fall into manipulation with the moon opposing Pluto at the same time. We really want to control others. We really just want to be in control of the situation. But unfortunately, we can't control anyone but ourselves, right? It would be really easy if we could just tell the people in our life exactly what we need and exactly what we want them to do. And if they would just do it, right, that would make being in relationships a lot easier, being a parent a lot easier. But we're all feeling this need for control on Sunday morning. And that could lead to power struggles, right? It could lead, you might notice that someone else is trying to manipulate you. You might notice that you're following into manipulative tendencies. And remember, I'm going to say this yet again because we really just want to be in control, and that can bring up hostility, right? Claim your power. This is a really powerful opportunity to reclaim your power. But remember, hostility is the absence of control, not the expression of it. When we're hostile, when we feel the need to be a bitch or to act out or whatever that looks like, to be angry, that is feeling out of control. When we are in control, we're able to lead with empathy. When we're in control of our emotions, we are able to be less reactive. So you might feel these themes coming up on Sunday morning. And there's a lot to be learned when you notice hostility and anger arising, when you notice a need for control coming up, when you notice a need for blaming other people or for over-explaining yourself too. That can be an attempt to control the situation. Take it from a recovering control freak, okay? This is not me preaching at you about like me having it all figured out. I promise. It comes from me dealing with control issues and like learning the hard way. So I don't say this to be preachy. I say this to try to empathize with anybody else who might fall into the same tendencies. Nick says, I'll have to listen to some heavy metal today. There you go. There you go. Really. And there is something to be said for having healthy outlets for those feelings. We've been talking a lot about that this week with the moon conjunct Mars, that full moon energy, like having healthy outlets for aggression, for anger, so that you can be in control of yourself when you're relating to other people. Venus squaring Jupiter. Venus will still be loosely squaring Jupiter once Venus moves into Capricorn. So we're still feeling that a lot energy throughout the weekend. And that can make us a little bit overreactive in relationships too. As one Virgo to another, Nick says, go with the flow, let go because you can't control the world. It's my daily struggle, Nick. My daily struggle. But heavy metal helps. I think I said this the other day, I'm more of an Alanis Morissette girl, like just screaming with that angst. Heavy metal feels a little overwhelming to me personally, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it for anybody else who enjoys it and feels that cathartic release when they listen to it. Do what works for you. Lots of heavy metal fans in the chat today. I love it. Yeah, Aries and Scorpio placements. That makes sense. Capricorn placements too. I feel like heavy metal, like intensity could be coming up for Capricorn placements. Okay, so that's what we feel first thing in the day. And then on Sunday afternoon, 11 a.m. Pacific time, so that'd be 2 p.m. Eastern time, the moon is going to harmonize with Jupiter at the anaretic degree. I told you Jupiter's hanging out here for a while, so get used to the energy of a lot, okay? It's like Sagittarius season going out with a bang with Jupiter at the anaretic degree. So you can see the moon harmonizing with Jupiter on the chart right now. This is going to, especially a Cancer moon, allow for big emotions to come through. Now, it will allow us to have trust, to have faith, to have optimism more easily, but Jupiter amplifies everything. And with this intense controlling energy leading up to the trine between the moon and Jupiter, it could be this over the top moment or just like a surge of emotions that come through when the moon harmonizes with Jupiter. I will say, if you do have any tension earlier in the day, the moon harmonizing with Jupiter could be a nice point to say you're sorry, to see the best in people, to see the silver linings, to understand, what did we learn from this situation? What did we learn from this power struggle or this conflict that comes up? Jenny says, Sagittarius, since they love to shock people and got that fire. Yeah, Sagittarius energy, definitely loving the heavy metal too. And now that I think of it, Jupiter at the 29th degree of Pisces could feel like just really bold, intense music too. Yeah, punk rock, definitely. So we're feeling that Jupiter energy on Sunday. Yet again, that trine between the moon and Jupiter, it's the a lot energy, and that's the very last connection the moon makes before the moon moves into Leo. That happens right after noon on Sunday Pacific time, which would be 3 p.m. Eastern time. So you can see, here we go, the moon is going to move into Leo right now, 0 degrees of Leo, and then the moon doesn't make any other connections all day on Sunday. So we get a nice little integration period when the moon moves into Leo. And the moon in Leo is a great opportunity to really check in with your heart. Leo energy is bold, it's expressive, it's magnetic, it's passionate, and our emotions could feel a little bit more dramatic and bold as well with the moon in Leo. With the moon in its releasing phase, having fun is really cathartic. Playing is really cathartic. Doing things that bring us joy is really cathartic. And Leo rules the heart. So tapping into our heart, what would feel good for our heart, doing those things, doing more of what expands that heart-loving energy. Now, if what's on our heart feels a little bit heavier or feels not joyful, feels sad, those emotions could come out in a more dramatic way with the moon in Leo, because our emotions want to be released under the waning gibbous moon. They want to be let go. So I guess I should change the moon. We're talking about the moon in Leo now. So just notice if your emotions feel bigger and more dramatic, and how can you do something that lights up your heart? How can you do something that feels fun, that feels playful, that feels creative, expressive? What would feel good for your heart with the moon in Leo? And that wraps up the weekend. Elena says, I'm excited about Jupiter entering Aries as well. It's going to trine my natal Jupiter in the 8th house of Leo. Yeah, and we got a little preview of Jupiter in Aries earlier in the year. So it's not an unfamiliar energy to us. Jupiter in Aries is really going to be that energy of like starting things and going for it. Really, once Mars comes out of its retrograde, once January gets going, Jupiter in Aries is really going to help us like full steam ahead. Let's go for it in 2023. I'm excited too. Jupiter in Pisces is a really beautiful, hopeful energy, but Jupiter at the 29th degree of Pisces can just make us feel a lot more sensitive and just big feelings. A lot, right? All right, let's come back to our affirmation of the day, inspired by the moon in Cancer right now. I am safe in my body. 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 The moon in Cancer wants us to feel safe in our bodies. So what can you do for yourself to feel safe? If you're not feeling safe in your body, that's when more reactivity can come up, when impulses can pop up. When we're not feeling safe, it's a lot easier, unfortunately, to project those feelings of not safe onto other people, to try to control other people because we don't feel like we are in control of ourselves. So affirming, I am safe in my body. It's safe to be in my body. The emotions I'm feeling in my body are okay to feel. It's safe for me to feel these emotions. When we deny our emotions, when we push them down, that's when we get that Lilith tendency where they come up and bite, right? So remembering, I am safe in my body. It's safe to feel how I feel, having healthy outlets for whatever emotions you're feeling. Try to focus on the positive. Yeah, definitely focusing on the positive, but also just honoring however you feel too. The moon's in Cancer, so honor how you feel in the moment. Because just like I said, not honoring how you're feeling can lead to resentment, can lead to trying to control and manipulate other people to try to make yourself feel better instead of just being like, I don't feel great right now. What can I do for me? Instead of trying to force other people to do things to make you feel better. Hopefully that makes sense. Nikki says, Mars retrograde makes me more tired during, I'm doing more yoga during this time in 2023. Yeah, Mars retrograde can feel like a slowdown or a tiredness or a lack of motivation sometimes too. All right, let's finish out the forecast. I'm not going to do a tarot poll because it feels like what's happening today is going to just kind of extend itself through the weekend. So because it's such a Venus-y day, we're going to pull from the Rose Oracle deck, my go-to Venus deck, and see if there's just one solid message that needs to come through for all of us. So you know the drill. Let me know any other thoughts, advice, intentions, reflections that you're having right now. Yes, great news, full steam ahead. By the new moon in Aquarius, January 21st, it's really going to feel like new energy, moving forward, looking to the future, innovating. Coincidentally, that's when we start our group journaling program, transit tracking, and there's still time to join. It's going to be a 4-week cycle, moon cycle that we're working through together, starting on the new moon, ending on the next new moon, and learning how to track the moon, the sun, and all the planets through our chart along the way. So we'll meet once a week over Zoom. We'll actually get to talk to each other, see each other's faces, and I'll be sending you course material every week too, journal prompts every day to help you tap into your own intentions and at the same time learn how to reflect on your emotions using the planets. So that's a great way to send light ahead for yourself and to know like, okay, by January 21st, we're really going to be feeling that go time energy. We're really going to be feeling it. I keep getting behind with my little graphics today, but we're about to do this tarot poll. So shuffle a few more times. It just feels like it needs a little more shuffling. And then if you're joining me live or if you're finding this video later, let's all just give ourselves the gift of a nice deep breath right now. A nice calming breath. Remember, if you're feeling out of control, if you're feeling a lot, you always have your breath to come back to. You can always control your breath. If you're feeling anxious, doing a longer exhale than an inhale can help slow down your heart rate and ease any anxiety. Breath work is becoming hugely popular, which is amazing. So if you've never done breath work, just looking up a simple 10-minute breath work video on YouTube. You know, there are so many free resources, but you always have your breath. So let's honor our breath right now and take the deepest breath we've taken all day, all together, sending our energy and intentions into the deck. Here we go. Breathe in. Hold it. And release. What do we need to know? Beautiful, beautiful card. The card is healing is happening. You're not broken. Trust the process. It's safe to soften. I needed to hear that. The cards lately have been very potent for me. Healing is happening. And I've been pulling a lot of cards for the first time as well. So let's see what message wants to come through. Healing is happening. You're not broken. Trust the process. It's safe to soften. You are not broken. You're a part of the ever-changing nature of life. Ever-changing, ever-changing, ever-changing. Change is your natural state. The rose knows that you were never meant to stay the same, to be one single shape, size, or way. You're not normal, and that's normal. You're always becoming more and more of who you truly are. Healing is happening at every moment of every day. You are returning to your true state every moment of every day. Call in your support team of people who can hold you in that, who can trust in the grace of your natural state. A true healer knows that they're not the one doing the healing. Rather, they're holding the vision of the return to wholeness, knowing that wholeness isn't a stagnant state. When you embrace all parts of life, from the ecstasy to the agony, the joy to the grief, the bloom to the fall, the bud to the rose hip, you'll realize that healing is always happening and life is on your side. No one is immune to the polarity of this human experience. The only way through it is to embrace all parts of it, the light and the shadow. And as any healer or initiate knows, the only way to the light is to embrace the shadow within. The shadow and sometimes the pain is a portal to your liberation. You are not broken. You are healing. Healing is happening. Trust in the timing of life. Healing is happening. Healing is happening. Healing is happening. And so it is. Well, that was beautiful. Very much a Cancer moon message, right? Like a message you would want to hear from your mother. And I love that we pulled that with the moon in Cancer. And on this day that feels like a lot, knowing that the polarity we're experiencing, the a lot that we're experiencing is part of the healing. It's part of the human experience. The darkness is leading us to the light. The light is showing us how expansive we really are, our ability to heal. So knowing that if you're going through any sort of pain, hardship right now, it's part of the healing process. If you feel like you're on the other side of it, giving yourself credit for how much you've healed already and knowing that you'll be able to fall back on those skills, to remember those healing modalities when you need to heal again, because our natural state is change. Happiness doesn't last forever, and neither does sadness. Healing is always happening in all states. Even just thinking about our body, the moon in Cancer really putting a focus on our body is always healing itself. Our cells are always regenerating on a very scientific, practical level. Hello, Mercury and Capricorn. We are always healing as humans, which is so freaking amazing that just subconsciously and naturally our body knows how to consistently heal itself. What a card. Yeah, right? Diane says, looking for guidance from the cards today regarding an email I got, if I should put any hope behind it, if it's something that will lead me in the right direction. Well, either way, it sounds like there's some healing there. So trusting whatever is supposed to happen is leading you closer to healing. The yin and the yang, the dark and the light, Tao. Yeah, it's all part of that energy that we're always tapping into. It's both the dark and the light. We're all born out of darkness into the light. So just honoring wherever you are on your healing journey, honoring whatever you need, giving yourself what you need, nurturing yourself through the healing, and knowing that you are safe in your body. And that can be healing in itself. Just even telling yourself through breath, through movement, through the words you speak to yourself, through your thoughts. It's safe to be me. I am safe in my body. I'm safe here. And I am healing. I take that as it's okay to let my guard down a bit and maybe feel a little hopeful. Something's coming through. Absolutely, Diane. Absolutely. And that's going to help you manifest the outcome you want, feeling excited about it, feeling like you already have the thing you want, right? Like, it feels so good to be hopeful. It feels so good to be safe in my body. It feels so good to know that opportunities are constantly coming to me and that the right opportunity will find me at the perfect time, right? That's all part of the safety. That's part of healing. And that's a beautiful takeaway. Elena says, I love telling my kids that we have superpowers because our body heals itself. It's true. It's really true. It's like I'm sure you've seen like lizards, how they can drop their tails and regrow new ones when they're threatened. And no, humans can't just like lose a limb and regrow a new one, but we can when we're hurt. When we have a cut on our hands, our cells automatically know what to do to regenerate that part of our skin. And same thing internally, when we have a cold, our immune system knows how to clear out foreign cells, foreign viruses and things. So giving our bodies credit for how much they do for us all the time. Yes, just like the inside of my deck, without the darkness, there is no light. All good to realize it's part of the process. Absolutely. Absolutely. Healing is happening. I love this card. I just want to sit here and stare at it. All right, everybody, that is going to do it for this episode of Transits today. I hope you have a beautiful weekend ahead of you. I hope that this forecast helped you plan and align with the energy, gave you permission to feel whatever it is that you are feeling right now, and gave you the reminder to find safety within yourself. I love you all. If you're new here, welcome. Please go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel so we can keep these videos coming to you for free every day. And I'm just so grateful for each and every one of you for continuing to show up for yourself, for continuing to show up for this community. You are all so special. You have so much light to share, so much wisdom to share. And I am so proud of each and every one of you for showing up for this mission that's calling you in life to grow and to evolve. Truly, you're all amazing. I wish you a beautiful rest of your day, a beautiful rest of your weekend. I will see you back here on Monday morning, but until I see you next, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.